Hi ladies and gents, welcome to another video. If you're new to the channel, my name's Zubair and I'm a 6th year architecture student, and in today's video I'm going to be going through 4 design principles when it comes to making the ultimate luxury / modern bathroom design. And what I'm going to do is show you this design that I've created here, and hopefully you can take some inspiration from the design language that I've used throughout the scheme. So if you like the sound of glamorous tiled marble bathrooms, freestanding baths, raised platforms and elaborate lighting schemes, then this is definitely a video worth watching. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into the design. Right, so I'm going to load it up on my screen here as well. Now I did do another bathroom interior some time ago. If you want to check out what I did with that scheme, check out this video up here. I'll leave the links down below as well. But in this week's project I thought I'd take some of those previous design principles and incorporate them in a slightly different way for this particular scheme. Now what are these 4 design principles anyway? Well, the very first one is going to be the types of fixtures and fittings you want to use, and that's obviously going to vary across, you know, your budget and stuff like that, but I will share with you kind of like a cheap way to kind of get the same design but for less money. You know, the whole fake it till you make it kind of idea. Second principle is the material palette you want to use, and there is definitely a knack to this if you are going for that kind of ultra modern, ultra luxury kind of vibe. And then the third principle, which ties in pretty closely with that, is one very key word, and that's contrast. That word alone there has allowed me to kind of make this ultra modern, ultra luxury bathroom using basically just 2 materials, but because they contrast so well with each other, it highlights key features of the design that I want to show off and sets the overall tone for that particular space. The fourth principle is lighting. This can pretty much make or break a design. It's one of those things that gets overlooked when it comes to a bathroom. We're all very into our lighting designs when it comes to kind of, you know, living spaces, bedrooms, kitchens, whatever, but for whatever reason we seem to forget it when it comes to a bathroom design. And when you're going for that ultra modern, ultra luxury look, it's something that you can't go without. In terms of fittings, the key aesthetic for this particular bathroom is this freestanding bath on a raised platform. There's just something about freestanding baths, they just kind of exude luxury and just they're really in trend right now if you've got the space, and that's the key word there, if you've got the space. Generally you do need a bathroom on the bigger scale for this to actually look right. You know, if you don't have a big bathroom, do consider subscribing to the channel, because I will be doing kind of an ultra modern, ultra luxury design for a much smaller bathroom, more realistic sized bathroom that doesn't use a freestanding bath. It'll just be a typical 1700 bath, but I'll show you how to kind of make it look super luxurious. And when it does come to these fittings, you actually don't need to spend massive amounts of money. If you do live in the UK, you know, you can use cheap places like Victorian Plumbing, for example, that kind of copy really high-end luxury stuff that looks great, but it's cheaper, and obviously you are sacrificing quality, so you know it probably isn't going to last as long as, let's say, a bath that's cost 10 times more from some designer brand out there. But you know, if you do have budget constraints, that's always one option. And when it comes to choosing a basin and kind of counter for your bathroom, I'd actually suggest going for a basin that's like an over-the-top basin, or that sits on top of the counter, rather than something that's like a semi-pedestal or a pedestal basin, which they're kind of old now, and you know the trend for that has long gone away. Doing this kind of design, or actually having kind of your basin integrated into the countertop, so long, something long and fairly shallow, which is what I've got for this particular design, looks really, really great. And then, you know, in terms of, you know, real world practicality and all your storage, you'd have like a unit below, but really minimalistic, really clean, to fit the design aesthetic you're going with. And then when you combine the two together, it does look really slick. And then when you've got the general idea of what kind of fittings you want, material palette. Now the main material for me in this particular design is a cream textured marble tile, and again, if you're going for that whole luxury modern aesthetic, the bigger the tile the better. Don't go for the kind of the square tiles. There's just something about bigger tiles when it comes to a luxury bathroom. It's it's like mind games that bigger is better. The tile that you choose, that will form the basis of your design, because more often than not, your floor, your walls, even your ceiling sometimes will be in that same tile. Of course, you can switch it up and have separate tiles or separate design splashes for particular areas like the bath or the shower. I've not done that with this design. I did do it in my previous luxury design, so check that out. Tried to keep this pretty minimalistic yet effective in this particular design, and then I've coupled that with a really dark ebony wood. Now of course, when it comes to your own bathroom, go real or fake, doesn't really matter, has the same effect. And in this day and age, there's just so many kind of laminates and things like that that mimic literally any kind of colour, shade, tone that you could ever want. And this is my secondary material. So if you haven't got a freestanding bath, this secondary material could be the tiling or finish on the side. It could actually be used for the vanity unit that the basin sits on. The idea is that you just use it here and there, not in a 50-50 split, more like a 75-25 kind of split, if you have to put numbers to it. In my design, I've used it for the raised platform for the bath and also the feature wall that separates the bath from the shower. And that brings me straight onto the next thing, that big word, contrast. What contrast does is focuses your attention on particular features, particular aspects of whatever you've got going on. I've used it to highlight and frame this freestanding bath, which is the focal point of this bathroom design. And it's in the name, guys. Generally, your bath is going to be the feature points. So what can you do to highlight it or showcase it that bit more? So if you've got a light texture, match it up with a dark texture. In a bathroom design, very rarely do you want something to blend into the next thing, particularly when you've got a focal point such as your bath. And what it does, it creates this illusion that you've got different spaces going on in this one overall space. Because generally, even in a luxury bathroom, the bathroom is going to be one of the smallest rooms in that particular dwelling. The bathroom is generally not as big as a kitchen, living room, bedroom, that sort of thing. But what this actually does is it makes things feel bigger in that space by separating each of them out with this kind of invisible boundary with contrasting materials and colours. And then finally, to tie it all together, you want an not over the top, but you want a really good lighting scheme. Now, the lighting scheme that I've gone with in this particular design is probably going to be very difficult to achieve, but you can steal principles and certain tips. The easiest type of lighting to install, so it's very easy just to choose to have kind of ceiling spots and just have that as your only lighting, but it's a bit bland, it's a bit boring, and if you are going to have these several different spots in there, so kind of where you've got your mirror and your sink and whatnot, have like ceiling pendants that drop down a fair amount, and again those can be textured, or it might actually match one of the colours that you've already got going on in your scheme. It's just something about low-hanging ceiling pendants. You see it a lot in luxury bedroom design, so why not do it in your bathroom? Another idea is to actually have a recessed ceiling, or do the opposite and have kind of a false ceiling and then have LED strip lighting along the rim, which kind of leaves a soft glow, or depending on what colour you choose, for the whole space. That's generally actually quite easy to do and not too expensive. If you have got like feature walls, raised platforms, etc., then definitely do allow like a 50mm gap for some strip lighting or something like that. It creates whatever kind of mood you want to go for. I actually did a dark scheme to go along with this particular design, and this is the one exception to the whole contrast rule. Generally, you want to go with a contrasting material palette unless you're purposely going for a particular theme. It could be this whole dark scheme, it could be a light scheme, it could be matching, in order to match the rest of your house design. I'll leave it to you. But I did the dark scheme to kind of highlight a particular mood that I'm going for, and then when you couple it up with a matching lighting scheme, it just has a really like big impact when you look at it. Like, I look at that and I don't know why, it makes me want to eat chocolate for some reason. I can't explain it. It's the type of bathroom that you probably see in an ultra luxury hotel or something like that. You can see that there's an overall warm glow to the design, and there's nothing too harsh sticking out in your face. Everything that needs to be highlighted is highlighted, so it doesn't blend away. So you know, all these little recesses in the wall for storing your shampoos and conditioners and whatever else you store in your bathroom. You know, if you've got reflective surfaces in your bathroom design, which you know you'd likely are to have if you've gone with marble tiling, you should use artificial lighting to actually play off those surfaces, and you know, they're highly reflective. If you shine a light on one part of the surface, that's going to bounce off and hit another area of the room, and you know, you can create some really cool looking effects when you do this, if you do it right. Then when you tie all of those things together, you get, or you should get, very modern, very luxurious looking bathroom design. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below with what I've created here. If you like what you've seen, do give this video a big thumbs up, helps the channel out massively, and consider subscribing for future content just like this and more. As always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.